Don Wayne Reno. Welcome to the video documentary of the second annual Reno Revival. We hope you'll enjoy reminiscing with us as we go through the video shots. The purpose of the gathering is to revive and continue the spirit of my dad, Don Reno. I think Dad's main goal in life was to share his knowledge of the five-string banjo and music in general to other aspiring musicians. So kick back and let's have a good time. The Reno Revival was held at Hermitage Landing Resort just outside Nashville, Tennessee. The park is situated on Percy Priest Lake and is a perfect setting for an event like this. It was also the perfect backdrop for filming this video. David Wells shot many hours of great footage which we had to narrow down into this video. What a difficult job that was.
Don't get me in there.
The weekend started Thursday afternoon as Reno enthusiasts began to arrive and greet each other.
Hi, my name is Andy Cushing, and I came down from Buffalo, New York to join the Reno Revival.
I'm Adam Seitz from Baltimore, Maryland. Came out here to the Revival and learned some Reno songs.
We're here to learn a little picking, enjoy the company, and hopefully learn all a bunch.
Hi, I'm Ken Holmes. I'm from Urbana, Illinois. This is my second time here. I'm looking forward to playing again with these friends that I've made over the last year, and looking forward to the whole weekend. It's going to be great.
It's good to be back again this year. Leave work behind and just play banjos.
As you can see, we're eating good country food, having a good time, and it's going to be a good time for everybody.
What have you got cooking for the students this year?
Well, I pretty much let them give me the ingredients, and then I try to make it taste good, you know. They tell me what they want to know, and if I can help them in some way, I'm more than happy to, and we have a lot of good people out here that are more than able to do that.
Hi, my name is Doug Patton. I'm from Salt Lake City. I flew out here today, and I've been playing banjo for a while off and on, and I'm hoping, it's my first time here at Don Reno's at the Revival, and I really like Reno's stuff, and I'm hoping to sort of break through to a new plateau by learning some things from him and everyone here, and I hear it's a great experience.
Hi, I'm Charlie Keys from Kennesaw, Georgia. My first year here at the Revival.
There are a lot of Reno-style players where you live.
Other than myself, I can't think of anybody really.
So this must be quite a treat to come with so many people.
It is, because I knew Don Wayne when he was that tall up in Maryland, and his dad.
I'm Curtis Johnson from Loxley, Alabama.
And I'll ask you the same question. A lot of Reno-style players where you live.
Not too many where I live. The banjo where I live is not as popular around my area as it is around this area. Yeah. I wish it were, but it's not.
Are you a first-timer?
First-timer to this revival.
All the excitement's starting already. Sam Zimmerman, I'm from Sevillesville, Maryland. This is my second annual Reno Revival, and I guess we're getting ready to start this weekend.
All the old guys, it's really good to see you again. All the new guys, I'm really glad that you decided to take a chance on us and come out. We are real excited and hope that everything goes as well as it did last year, because we had a great time last year. We're looking for at least as good a time this year, if not even better.
We asked my brother Dale Reno what he thought of 30 banjos being played at the same time.
Don't even ask. Don't even ask.
After an informal reception, we kicked off with a good jam.
Scott Vestal, and I'm here at the Reno Revival, having a big time.
As the fog lifted Friday morning, the banjo players gathered at the clubhouse. After a little breakfast and coffee, we all got our banjos out and started our first instructional section. The song was Bye Bye Blues. The workshop began with everybody in one group, myself and Charlie Cushman, playing through the songs. We'd play through the whole song and then break down the sections, play through the sections very slow, And when the session was over, all the banjo players kind of broke up into their own little groups and helping each other out, and this was a big help to me.
Okay, I'm Frank Jones, and I'm having fun. I'm down here from Temperance, Michigan. I'm having the time of my life. Hello, I'm Van Hoover. I'm from Arizona, Pennsylvania. I'm really enjoying this.
I was very impressed with the wisdom and insight that all the banjo players had about Don Reno. Let's take a look at a few of the interviews conducted over the weekend.
My name is Arnold Gunther, and I was a good friend of Don Reno's. One day I heard a lot about the man and I decided to go over his house after I found out where the gentleman lived. And it was in the afternoon, around 2 o'clock, I believe it was. I knocked on the door, and a man comes to the door, and I asked him, said, "You Don Reno?" He said, "Yes." I said, "You give lessons?" And he said, "Yeah." And I noticed the man was still wearing his pajamas in the afternoon, and not realizing, I found out later, that he just got out of hospital from being quite sick. And then I felt kind of bad about it. But he said, "Come on in." He said, "You bring your banjo?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, get her on out." So we went upstairs. He had a room upstairs where he lived up in it was a Cape Cod house like. And we went up there, and he gave me my first lesson. And I said, "Well, can I come back?" He said, "You come back anytime you want." And we talked for a while. I mean, one of the finest men, that I've ever come across when it comes to knowledge of a banjo and for showing you things. He felt no matter what it was you wanted to learn, or he would show it to you. He didn't hold nothing back or had no secrets about what he did. It was just tremendous. It was a great inspiration. And I just wished everybody had the chance that I had. I didn't take lessons long on account of the work. I was quite busy at work time.
How would you describe Don Reno as a person, just on a personal observation?
A great human being. Great, very talented, very intelligent with the music field. I would say he's 50 years ahead of his time with what he did. And it's a shame that he was never recognized like he should have been. I think the music field really has let down on that part of it towards a man. It's sort of like Hank Williams, who he was never known until after his death. And of course, Don Reno, I think the more what his boys are doing for him, and then to bring his style of banjo picking out, and everybody wants to learn it. And back then, he was so far advanced that everybody would stick to the Krug style because it was so much easier to pick up. And with the Reno style, it was just so far out that the people never could understand that how he would do that stuff. He would tell me, he says, no matter where I'd go in the country, he said, if I'd go along the highway somewhere or through the mountains somewhere and see somebody playing, he said, I'd stop. He said, I'd talk to them. If they could show me something, he said, I'd pick it up. Or if I could help them out, he said, I would sure help them out.
Hi, my name is Doug Patton. I'm from Salt Lake City, originally from New York, and I started playing banjo at an early age in the late 70s, and I didn't play it for many years. And lately, after worrying about my career and everything else, I've decided to try to pick it up again, and I started listening to some old Reno albums, and just the way he chords everything, and I thought it would be a good way for me to learn a lot about the neck, different things about theory and everything, because I think Reno was a theorist first and a jazz guitarist first, and then played banjo after that, real direct driving banjo, which I also like. And I heard about this almost roundabout, and I've had more fun than I can imagine coming out here for the last 3 or 4 days. It's just been absolutely exciting for me to, if I go home with 4 or 5 licks that I can take and now listen to all the Reno albums and visualize what I see everyone doing here, I'll make leaps and bounds, I think, and be real happy with everything I do.
What are some of the Reno tunes that you've learned?
While I've been here, well, I like Clear Skies, which was a big one for me to understand, and Bye Bye Blues I've sort of got my arms around, but not too much, but mostly I like the, that kind of stuff that he did.
Get the brush stroke down good.
And all of that kind of stuff.
All right, I'm Stuart Bonington from Clarksville, Tennessee. Been living in Tennessee about 15 years, originally from upstate New York. Don Reno's been my hero for a lot of years. I've been playing about 20 years, and started taking lessons with Don Wayne last year after the first revival. So I've been going at it for a while, and I don't know. There's something about Reno playing that just gets in your blood. It's a whole different attack to the banjo. I was telling somebody, when you slow it down, it doesn't have that smoothness that people associate with like Earl Scruggs or somebody of a lesser quality like that. But it's a more percussive kind of, and because the notes aren't quite as even, I think there's an excitement and an edge to it. I consider myself fortunate to have seen Don Reno live once, and that was, I believe, in I think 1981 or 82, somewhere around that. The thing I noticed about Don Reno was that he was still having fun on stage. Some of the other people of his stature and time seem to be going through the motions or just occasionally would get excited. But I got the feeling from Don Reno that he was as turned on to the music up till he died as he ever was, you know, and that, I sit down with Don Wayne sometimes and I'll say to him, how in the world did he ever come up with a way of doing that? He kind of smiles and shakes his head too, and it's just, I think he's probably one of the musical geniuses of this century. Here's one that you might not have heard. If I can play it here on tape. It's called Stompin' with Reno. It's actually a fiddle tune.
At the Reno Revival, there's no non-smoking rooms and there's no decaf coffee. So drink up, boys.
This is Aretha Hoover, and she has graciously volunteered her time to help. Her husband has come to join the banjo players, and she decided she was going to volunteer her services to help me this weekend, and I'm awfully glad she did.
We're from Pennsylvania, and it's better than sitting and listening. I mean, you can still listen while you...
That's right. Be busy.
Right, I'd rather be
Well, my
busy.
compliments on the coffee.
Pardon?
Good coffee this morning.
Oh, thank you. I think we made 6 pots.
This morning, we went through a lot of coffee this morning already, so we went and bought another 10-pound can or whatever it is, because we know these guys go through a lot of coffee.
Yeah, especially as we stay up later with each night.
That's right. Every morning they'll drink more coffee.
G and D right there. C.
Back to G. Now G, G flat, E.
Let me take this time to introduce my friend Charlie Cushman, who volunteered his time to teach at the revival. I can't say enough about Charlie and his musicianship. His rapport with the students was outstanding. Not only is he a great Reno stylist, but also an all-around great person. We truly appreciate his assistance and his enthusiasm.
Yeah, I'm working with Mike Snyder right now in a great musical situation. All of us are banjo players, and we all have the same idea about timing. So that is a real strong thing to have in your hand right there. When everybody thinks timing the same way, and we're free to create and express as we wish, which means a whole lot. In the past, I've worked with. I started my professional career with a man named Carl Tipton here in town that had a local TV show for about 25 years. And I started on that when I was 14, worked on that for 5 years. Then I went to work with James Monroe, worked with him for about a year, and got to play some with Bill Monroe as a substitute for Butch Robbins, who at that time was living in Virginia. Sometimes in the winter he couldn't make it to Nashville, so I'd be the guy that Bill would call. And I worked a year for Jimmy Martin. My first introduction to Don Reno was through the song Remington Ride, which I never had heard anybody play a banjo that way before. It just really impressed me that he could be playing rolls and then go right into a brush and just come out of it so smooth. You know, his style just intrigued me and still does and always will. As a person, Don was always willing to talk to the little guys and help them out, show them stuff on the banjo, and he was just a nice man. He was a gentleman. And he had a lot of class about him, a lot of charisma, wonderful entertainer, could MC a show better than anybody. You know, he made you feel like you were special, and that when you watched his show, it was a real event. It wasn't just another band on stage playing. He had a lot of showmanship, and as a person, he cared, you know, a lot about people, especially the young people playing banjos and fiddles and stuff. I've heard a lot of my musician friends that I'm still in contact with today tell stories about stopping at Don's house in Lynchburg, because he always extended an invitation to the pickers to come by and play a song, come by and have a Coke or something. You know, he was just a very accommodating person in all respects, and he's left us a great legacy behind music, things that we can all learn from and enjoy.
impressions of the revival?
Oh, I think it's just fantastic. This is my second year. It's a great time. You get to know some great people, pick up banjo licks that you go home and try to do. It's a highlight of the year for me. It's really a marvelous time. Get to see some of the greatest pickers in the world, rub elbows with people like Charlie Cushman and Don Wayne Reno. And
Rub an elbow with him for the camera there. Just rub an elbow.
Rubbing elbows, yeah.
They brought me a cup of coffee. Okay, so you could do that either way too, like Scruggs way.
Hi, my name's Andy Cushing, and this is my first attendance at the Reno Revival. For me, it's a complete education on Don Reno. I knew very little about him before I came down here. I'm learning a lot. I haven't had this much musical homework in years, and I'm really enjoying myself.
And what's your favorite Reno tune?
Well, I like Choking the Strings, and that's a detuning number. There are so many different elements of his playing that are interesting. You can't get them all in one song, at least I don't know of a song where he plays them all.
Yeah.
I like his ending, though. Should I play that?
Yeah.
I'm all set. I got a Reno lick now.
That's great. And this is
All
a
right.
chance to give a little promo on some of the stuff you've been working on. Would you like to say a little bit about your...
Well, I make practice tapes for aspiring banjo players and now mandolinists called Band in a Box. And now that I've learned more about Reno, I can satisfy some Reno files out there in the banjo world.
All right. And is there a number they can call if they're interested?
I advertise in all the bluegrass publications as Band in a Box, and you can contact me through that.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Tom Dreesen. I'm from beautiful Homewood, Illinois. It's my first time to the Reno Revival. I've really had a lot of fun. I've met some tremendous players of all skills. It's been a great experience. I came to learn about single string playing, and you know, I don't have any real Reno history, or I just like playing. I like playing aggressively, and I knew that Don Wayne was quite a character on the banjo, and so I wanted to see how he burned them up, and he's been willing to show me anything I asked for. It's been a great weekend. It's a little Sally Johnson.
I'm Mike McKnight. I'm from Mason, Tennessee. I've been playing banjo about 7 years. And this song I learned about 10 minutes ago, Crazy Finger Blues. And this song I've tried to figure out for, probably 4 years. Tried different tunings on it and every kind of technique I could think of, and come up here and find out it's a really, really strange tuning on it.
So you didn't have the right tuning?
Yep, Don Wayne showed it to me in about 5 minutes.
Well, what do you think about the Reno Revival so far?
Oh, I love it. I really wished when I was first starting to learn to play Reno stuff that they'd have had something like this, because then all I could do was just get maybe some old tablature out of Banjo Newsletter and the record. That's it. Nobody around home plays much of it.
Is this your first year, or were you here
Second
last
year.
Uh-huh.
I
I was here at the first one.
Well, if there was any reason you could give for coming to the revival to a newcomer, what would it be?
Well, if you want to learn to play the Reno style, I'd say this was the place because you can get so much hands-on experience with Don Wayne and Charlie and other people that come up here. And nothing beats hands-on experience with a good teacher for teaching banjo.
What would you say about the average playing ability of most of the people here?
Oh, it varies all over the map. We got people just started about a year or so ago to people that's been playing for 30 years. And enough technique around here that any level you are, you wouldn't feel left out.
Well, before I leave you, do you know any good banjo jokes?
Well, my favorite one is how many banjo players does it take to play Sally Gooden?
And how many is that?
7. One of them to play it and the other 6 to stand around and say Earl Scruggs didn't play it like that.
I got interested in Reno back about, I guess, maybe in the 52, 53, when I started hearing him on the radio out of WWVA in Wheeling, West Virginia, and then WRVA in Richmond. And Reno and Smiley would play back and forth, different, usually about every other week it seemed. And in fact, I've got some of that stuff on tape. My home is Lansing, Michigan. We could pick up those radio stations up in Lansing on a good Saturday night. And I was enthralled with the banjo playing, because I thought there was really two banjo players or something like that, because at about that time Les Paul and Murray Ford were doing the guitar stuff with double recordings and then working over the recordings and speeding them up, and I thought there probably was something like that, because this was so unique and so exhilarating with what I was hearing. But the first time I saw Reno, I realized obviously at the time that he was doing it all himself. This wasn't any magic of recording. This was the real thing. And one of the other things that sort of interested me, because I was playing the guitar at the time, was that he was playing everything without a capo, which in the common bluegrass area, you don't see people playing without capos. I found out now, last year, which was about obviously 40 years afterwards, 45, here he has been living in Baltimore, or actually south of Baltimore, between Baltimore and Washington all this time, and he was giving lessons to people. And
so you missed your golden opportunity.
I missed it. I got my first banjo in 1960, but I was still there for a couple more years, well, about a year and a half after that would have offered me some opportunity to get some tips from the real master. But anyway, then all these songs have slipped by, except for the more standard type of bluegrass songs that he did, which he would do those. But these instrumentals, the intricate instrumentals, eluded me. I wasn't smart enough, I guess, to pick up all the subtleties of his playing, and especially the intricate chord changes, until last year when I came to the first Reno revival. And man, that was an eye-opening. You know, you see all these songs, or many of them, being played for the first time, the way that Don played them, or as close to them as I remember hearing them. And obviously, I still have the records and so on. But and everybody has a little bit different take on those tunes, as Don Wayne does too, and he says that. And in fact, he repeats over many times that Don Reno didn't play the same song twice either. So that part of it is really interesting. And there's another Reno revival this time around, this year, and I'm learning again.
Hi, my name's Dennis Seitz. I'm from Red Line, Pennsylvania. This is my son, Adam Seitz. Adam lives in Baltimore, Maryland. And this is our first trip to Nashville. We came out here for the Reno revival. And we both enjoy playing bluegrass music. I've been playing banjo for about 5 years, and Adam's been playing for about 4 years. And play a variety of styles, and always enjoyed different variety of bluegrass music. And started getting interested in the Reno style, listening to some of Don's old records, and back where I'm from, we play. There's a lot of three-finger Scruggs style players, and whenever we play something with a little bit of a Reno flavor, you know, it gets a lot of excitement. A lot of people take notice. So I thought, well, the more I can learn about the way Don played, the better. And I'm very fortunate to have a son that's interested in taking an interest in music, and he enjoys playing music as much as I do, and he's willing to absorb all he can absorb here at the revival, and find out all he can about the different songs Don Reno played.
I've just been eating it all up, taking all this in and learning all I can. And learned 4 or 5 Reno songs this morning and yesterday.
Well, do you take lessons at home?
Just learned from my dad and then took it from there.
So you're you can teach yourself pretty well
Yeah.
at this point. That's good. And Adam, what attracts you to the Reno style?
You never know what to expect if you hear Don Wayne or somebody playing. It's just always something different and never the same thing twice.
What's your impression of the revival so far?
A lot of good picking and nice people.
Hi, I'm Tim Custer from Royal Palm Beach, Florida, and really been enjoying myself here this weekend at the big Reno Revival. I got interested in the Don Reno style of music not real early in my career. I started out as a Scruggs style player, but some fellas had some Reno recordings and learned to hear some of that stuff, and had the opportunity to sit down with Don Reno one afternoon about 2 or 3 hours and learn to know what kind of a man he was. And from that point on, I wanted to know everything about Don Reno that I could learn to know. So when I found out about the Reno Revival, I was real anxious to come to this, and wasn't able to be here last year, but certainly glad I'm here this year and look forward to as many more of these that they want to put on.
Well, what was your impression of Don Reno? Would you describe?
Well, he was a man that certainly never got the credit, I think, that Earl Scruggs and some of the other banjo players got, but he knew the banjo better than anyone that I have ever seen or probably will ever know in my lifetime. He just could play things and was so spontaneous in his playing. He would play a song such as Love Please Come Home that every bluegrass musician has heard time and time again, but he would put a lick in there that would just stand the hair up on the back of your neck and would make you say, God almighty, that's a banjo player there.
Well, tell me a little bit about the Reno Revival. What are your general impressions?
Oh, I thought it's just been absolutely great. I've made the comment several times. I've been to functions where you go there and of course no one knows you, and sometimes you feel like an outsider. But I don't think that I could have been treated any better if these people had known me all of my life. They've just made me feel right at home, and it's been wonderful from start to finish. Everything that they have done has been first class, and they have not let one question go unanswered. They have gone completely out of their way to make this the kind of thing that every banjo player hopes in their life that they can attend some point during their lifetime.
Probably played a few Reno tunes over the years, Follow the Leader, Dixie Breakdown, that type of stuff. I don't think I really appreciated until the last few years what he was doing on the records.
Have you, from your memories of last year, have you noticed that anybody's dramatically improved, especially as a teacher? Did anybody impress you as having made a lot of improvements since you'd seen them last
Well,
year?
I think we've all made improvements. I know I can tell from my own playing that sitting there trying to learn a different style, it makes everything else that I do, it seems like it's a little bit easier to do, or it seems to tighten up my playing because I'm having to concentrate more. I think I'm probably like a lot of people. You get to a point where you play reasonably well or pretty well, and then you start getting not necessarily bored with it, but it's not quite as exciting as it had been. And this is like being a kid in a candy store.
What happens there? That Stan Hitchcock, did he go out of business? Yeah, he sold out. He sold to TC. Ready?
Grandpa.
Hot dogs, baked beans, salad, cookies, cake.
What's this, tater salad?
Coffee.
Tater salad?
I think so.
I want to get everybody to get that roll. You got to drop your thumb down to the second string at that point right there.
Now show me your technique there, your snare drum technique.
Snare drum?
Uh-huh.
Well, because we have a drum head here, you can brush along the head. You can pick a frosty or a smooth part. You can
Does it have to have a Roadrunner on it?
Well, it helps if you have a Roadrunner on it, and it really works best if you're playing the Roadrunner tune, but basically you can go.
Please come here, Tom Wayne. We'll get the snare drum effect. Wing that.
Gerbacki from Rochester, New York. And this is the first year down here. I heard about last year, but I couldn't make it down. But it's unbelievable, just the number of players down here and the talent that's down here. It's unbelievable. So,
what do you like best about the Reno style?
I like it because it's so different, you know, and the backup, and he has blazing instrumentals that he does, as well as just beautiful backup. I mean, just unbelievable. Some of the songs you'd never think you'd hear a banjo on, he put beautiful backup to songs, and I really believe that he was way ahead of his time when he was playing, when he was alive and playing. He was way ahead of his time, and I don't honestly. I mean, I haven't seen. There's a few players here that play, but even when you listen to the old records, there's nobody around that plays like he did.
Well, if you were to tell somebody the difference between Don Reno's playing and Earl Scruggs playing, how would you describe it?
They're both outstanding. I mean, you know, in their own right. You know, they're both outstanding. That's all I can say. But my particular preference is the Reno style.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is, how would you describe Reno's, what he does in his playing that would make it stand out from the traditional Scruggs style?
A lot of the single string, you know, the backup vamping, you know, single string. I'm in detuning right now. It doesn't sound right, but just all the single string and the ingenuity. I mean, just unbelievable. That's what I would say. I would recommend anybody to try it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's you have to have patience, because it's, you know, it's not it's a slow process. I mean, unless you've got the good teachers that you've got here, then it helps, you know. Well, that was a halfway version of Pick and Hold by Don Reno.
Which you just learned about 10 minutes ago, right?
Yeah, we just learned that just this afternoon.
My name is Charlie Spencer. This is my second year at the Reno Revival. The greatest thing that ever happened for banjo players who want to learn the Reno style. My suggestion to any banjo player, whether he's been playing for years or just getting started, if you want to learn Reno style, sign up and come next year. You can't beat it.
What is it that excites you about the Reno style? Can you put it in words?
You can play anything you want to play, whether it's slow song, jazz, 3/4 time, 4/4 time, it makes no difference. If it's out there, you can play it.
Could you give us an idea what a typical day is like at the Revival? Maybe kind of just summarize what we've been doing today and what we're going to do tonight.
Reno Revival Day is very full of banjo picking. If you're a banjo player, love banjo music, or getting into banjo music, that's what you're going to do all day. Tonight, we're going down to Station Inn. If you want to get a chance to play along with the Reno boys, you get a chance to there. They invite you to. Very nice crowd, very nice place to go. And suggest anybody come see it and join in.
Name's Joel Hill. I'm from Richmond, Virginia, and signed up for the Don Reno Revival. Up until now, I haven't had a whole lot of exposure with the Don Reno style, and like bluegrass, it's oh gosh, it's just captivating, if you will. I've been hooked, and I'd like to learn a little bit more about it. Single string, more than anything, is what I'd like to learn most of all. And it seems to be, you know, the old adage that the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing. Well, I'm a perfect example of that when it comes to single string. My left hand doesn't always know what my right hand is up to, and they tend to go off in two different directions. But being here this weekend has certainly helped the two hands communicate a little bit better. Well, I'm still in detail. But nonetheless, I've had a blast. I've had a good time. Hope to be able to come back next year and keep up with some of the guys who are playing some of the faster tunes. I consider myself a beginner. Before I came here, I considered myself an advanced beginner. Now I'm back down to just being a beginner. Seems like the more you know you gotta learn. And I look forward to learning a lot more.
I'm Jim Bartholomew. I reside on Cane Creek in Hohenwald, Tennessee.
I thought it was Hohenwald.
It depends. We're from southern Germany.
So, what's your experience with the banjo so far?
Very limited. I'm an absolute novice. No, I did find out there are 5 strings on one of them.
Yeah.
And the thing here is not to hang your hat on, I found out.
But you also play clawhammer style
I do.
too, right?
Clawhammer is my main gig. I came here basically to learn something of the Reno style. It is an advanced effort, you know. It's quite involved, but the instructors, the pickers are all quite helpful. So there's a lot of little mini groups around with learning sessions and so forth. I've enjoyed it. I really have.
Okay. Well, let's go over to our other novice here.
Well, I can probably echo a lot of what Jim's been saying. I've been playing about a year. I haven't had a lot of exposure to other banjo players, and this looked like a good weekend to come up, meet a lot of players, and definitely have done that. Met some very experienced people, and what I'm impressed with is that the caliber of the guests are probably almost as equal as the instructors, and actually what I think I'm going to take away from this is enough questions to keep my instructor at home busy for the next 5 years.
And I started playing banjo about 5 years ago. And then I heard about the Reno style just kind of out of the blue somehow. And I went to a teacher out there in Seattle and I asked him if I could learn how to play the Reno style. I think I heard a song called Ridge Runner. It's like, has that chicken lick. So I got my own lick. That's what I'm working on.
A loud banjo you got.
Oh, thanks, yeah. And basically, I played in a band, a bunch of my buddies back home, and came out here last year. Then I got inspired and wrote a little article for the Banjo newsletter, and it was fun. I'd like to say hi to everybody out there in Banjo land. And
so you
wrote the article.
You're a second timer. And,
a second timer,
What
yeah.
can you attribute that to? Why would you come back a second time?
Well, basically, I didn't learn everything the first time. I don't think I'll learn everything this time either. I think it'll take about 3 or 4 or 5 or maybe
You gonna come
a whole
back next
life.
year?
I'm gonna really try to make it back next year.
Well, what is it that attracts you to the Don Reno style?
I think it's because he was sort of a rebel, you know. He had to come up with his own style, and back home everybody plays Scruggs style, and I've always liked playing my own style, so back home I can play the Reno style and be kind of an individual back there. There's only one other guy in Seattle that I know of that plays exclusively Don Reno stuff.
I got to ask you something. What was the most requested lick of the weekend so far? What has been the most?
I've had more requests about the pull-off kind of things, walking down.
I can understand why.
And passing chords. Been getting a lot of requests for stuff like that. Single string, the old famous, you know, that kind of stuff. But, man, it's been a wide variety of stuff. I mean, everybody's different, I guess, in what they want.
Yeah.
Seems like everybody's getting what they asked for.
While we're waiting for Charlie, give us a little clue about what's happening tonight. Tell us a little bit about the Station Inn.
Okay, Station Inn, basically the Reno brothers will be doing starting a show out up there, and then we'll start getting some banjo players up to show off a little bit and just have a big time. I know when we leave here, we'll be giving away the Rich and Taylor banjo after supper tonight, so hopefully one of them will be picking that down there tonight at Station Inn.
All right. Well, what I wanted you to do too is explain a little bit about what the Station Inn is for those.
Well,
that don't know.
Station Inn, it's just a little, divey kind of a club in downtown Nashville. It's been one of the very few places that has had bluegrass 7 nights a week for the last, I don't know, probably 20 years or better. And it's about the only place you can go around Nashville and hear good music on a, good PA, and the crowd that comes in there are, really attentive. They watch and listen, and they clap real good when you get done.
It helps too, doesn't it?
Yeah. So basically, it's where all the pickers in town, bluegrass players, hang out in there all the time. And they have one like sidemen night on Tuesday night down there, where a lot of the sidemen in the big groups like Bill McCurry, or Ronnie McCurry plays down there, and Terry Eldridge with the Osborne Brothers, and Mike Bubb with Dale McCurry, and Jimmy Campbell with Jimmy and Jesse plays fiddle. So that Tuesday night's a good night down there, but it's basically about the best place around to go hear some good bluegrass music.
Say hi, David. Say this is going to be the banjo picking man. I'm going to be a banjo man. A banjo man. I'm going to be a banjo picker. He's been giving me some good kisses.
Come here, Jason.
He's been giving it, Daddy. Give me Daddy some kisses. What is that, Tim? She's the unsung hero of the Reno Revival.
Well, I can't play an instrument, so I guess.
Yes, you can.
I can cook.
I'll say it now, I know you're running around. Cruel love has never gave me nothing. I wish that we had never had the part. The scars on my heart cannot be mended. Cruel love left me a broken heart.
I'm going to shake it, and you're going to take the names, okay?
He's camera shy.
Just like your daddy.
Really? Okay. Nobody in this family is camera shy, I guarantee it.
Oh, that's great.
All right, stand back up there on the chair, son. Oh, it has to be just right, you see.
We'll show you better side.
I guess.
All right, pull a
Okay,
name out of
I
it,
want you to
buddy.
reach up in there and swish them around with your hand. And I want you to draw that name out of there, and then you hand it to Mama, and I will tell you who it is. Stuart Bonington. I think that's it.
What did I tell you, Stuart?
If I have one, do I take the tapes? Is that?
You can exchange it. You can exchange it for a CD.
Case too, Daddy.
Gonna charge me $2,000 for the case, right? Is that?
Yeah, that's what it'll be. Stuart, turn around and let them take your picture there. So everybody can take your picture. What do you want
you figure out how to get it open, you can read all those signatures in there.
Thank you, Jason. I'll give you that $100 later, okay? Thank you, Phil.
The big winner of the Rich and Taylor Banjo. Congratulations, sir. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy like this is. Or a bigger Don Reno fan. True.
Hey, I'm going to California where they sleep out every night. Hey, I'm going to California, Lord, where they sleep out every night. Hey, I'm leaving you, Mama, 'cause you know you don't treat me right. I got the California blues, I'm sure gonna leave you here. I got the California blues, I'm sure gonna leave you here. I may rob the blind, I ain't got no railroad fare. Hey, oh, do lay, oh, do dee, do lay, oh, lay, oh, Lord. Let me tell you something, good gal, that you don't know. Hey, let me tell you something, sweet mama, that you don't know. Hey, I'm a do-right daddy, I got a home anywhere I go. I got the California blues, I'm sure gonna leave you here. I got the California blues, I'm sure gonna leave you here. I may rob the blind, I ain't got no railroad fare. Hey, oh, do ole, oh, oh, Lord. Gonna buy me a shotgun with a great long shiny barrel. Long. Gonna buy me a shotgun with a great long shiny barrel. I'm gonna shoot that rambler, he up and stole away my gal. I got the California blues, I'm sure gonna leave you here. I got the California at the old railroad fair. Hey, oh, do lay, oh, do lee, do lay, oh, oh, lay.
Turn to blue when you're many miles away, dear. Just a phone call will do. Many miles may separate us, but just a phone call will do.
Yeah, baby.
Thank you. For all those of you who are not part of the Reno Revival, this is my father, Jerry Schaefer. And
Been a major help on this revival, that's for sure.
I wanted to give him a chance to show you all what he can do because he's been doing this for a living all his life, too.
Ray Place got into the Hall of Fame this year, and he deserved it. Well, a heartache number one was when you left me. said that you were coming back to stay. With hopeful heart I waited for your knock on my door. I waited, but you must have lost your way. Now I've got a heartaches by the number, troubles by the score. Every day you love me less, each day I love you more. Yes, I've got heartaches by the number, a love that I can't win. And the day that I stop counting, that's the day my world will end. Well, heartache number 3 was when you called me and said that you were coming back to stay. With hopeful heart I waited for your knock on my door. I waited, but you must have lost your way. Now I've got heartaches by the number, troubles by the score. Every day you love me less, each day I love you more. Yes, I've got heartaches by the number, a love that I can't win. But the day that I stop counting, that's the day my world will end. Yes, the day that I stop counting, that's the day my world will end.
Mr. Jerry Schaefer, thank you.
All
I
right.
have one more thing I want to say before I get down. I'm sorry. I don't want to monopolize anybody's time here, and I know we want to get the banjo players up, but I do want to say that this man right here is the most talented man I've ever known. And if it wasn't for him, none of us would be here tonight anyway. And I just want all of you all who love and respect him as much as I do to please give him a round of applause.
And buy his video. They already have. Thank y'all. I appreciate it. Golly, I don't deserve it.
I'll tell you what, Don, when you want to get the boys up and we'll just pick one.
Yeah, we'll start getting them up. Boys, go get your banjos.
Yeah.
Line up over here. Whoever's ready, let's. I'm going to run back there. I've got to talk to them for just a second. So just take like a 5-minute pause and then we'll be right back.
All right.
Is it Limehouse Blues, and we'll see y'all later.
trying to advertise it.
Everybody's sucking in.
I get an endorsement.
I'm Glenn Hoover. I'm from Arisdale, Pennsylvania, and I've been a fan of Don Reno since way back in the 50s, I guess you could say.
I don't mess around.
His banjo style fascinated me, and that's the reason I am here today, because this is really something that I enjoy. And this is just one of the finest places I've ever been in Reno. I play Reno style, but I don't ever profess to be a real Reno banjo player. I mean, I use some of his licks. And
did you ever meet Don Reno?
Oh, yes, I did. I had the opportunity to be with Don. I met him twice at a show, and then I had the opportunity to be with him down at Willie Jamboree for about 2 hours. Don and I was in a room together back there, and that was the highlight of my life. And, with Don. Of course, I played the banjo down there, but playing the banjo when Don Reno's around is pretty nerve-wracking for me.
Yeah, I could expect.
But hey, this is great. I'm having a great time. I'm not playing as much as what I would, because I get more fun out of it watching than I do actually playing, because I see so many different things, going on. And, leave it to the younger guys that's playing.
Yes, I'm John Cosby of the Bluegrass Drifters, organized back in 1963, and played at Renfro Valley for about 16 years. That's where I met Don Reno at, along about 1965, somewhere along in there. He and Ronnie came to Renfro Valley, and they actually wasn't carrying a band at that time, Don wasn't. That was just after him and Red had split up for the time being, and we got a chance. As a matter of fact, we got a chance to back him and Ronnie on the stage at Renfro Valley there a few times. And I never did try to copy anybody, never did want to copy, but if I'd ever been a copier, it would have been Don Reno and Red Smiley, because I always loved their music.
My name's Charlie Hall. I live in Lexington, Kentucky. And I met John in 1973. Well, I didn't meet him. I saw him on stage down in Richmond. And pretty good lineup that week. Was Mac Wiseman was there, and Lester Flatt and his boys, and the different ones. And John and his band impressed me more than anybody there, the way they was playing, because his Shorty Van was playing the banjo, and he was more like a Reno style. And maybe a couple years later, I met him at Renfro Valley and introduced myself, and we picked together a time or two when he needed me. And then about 3 years ago, he called me. I don't know if I wanted to pick a little booth in that Renfro, and I went down there, and we played a little gig together, and we've been picking together since then. And I really enjoy playing with John. He's really likes this old type, standard, traditional bluegrass. That's what he really goes for, and that's what I'm about too. And that's why I've been coming to this Reno camp, trying to learn a little Reno to go in with the stuff he really likes.
Well, what's your overall impression of the revival?
Oh, it's something. It's great. It's something that anybody that, even a beginner, even somebody that's been playing like I have for 20-some years, should be down here if they like Reno style, because you can really get around with the guys and pick a little trick up here and there and show somebody a little something you know, and then keep it alive. That's what I like about it.
Actually, like I told Don Wayne a while ago, I was about to get a little worried about bluegrass, because it's getting a little modern on us, and that was kind of making me sad. But after watching the Reno brothers down at Station Inn last night, I feel a whole lot better about bluegrass music, because that was one of the better shows that I've seen in many a day. Now when I'm old and you say I lost it, live so sweet, press close to mine. Time stands still, my heart is lighter.
ask our wives.
This is our big brother right here, Eddie
That's right.
Adcock, who we love very much.
That was the days of using the one mic, you know. You had to know how to work that mic.
And here's Stuart with his
What
new
a life.
banjo.
That's
Let's hear
right.
what it sounds like.
Hello, I'm Ron Tonga from the cold hills of Minnesota, down here for the revival, and this is my wife Rosie. Brought her with to see how she likes it.
Oh, it's been great. Absolutely fabulous. The weather has been beautiful and it's just gorgeous here. I've enjoyed myself immensely. The Saturday night was the best, the best I've ever seen.
What song did you enjoy going over the most while you were here?
I'd have to say really none of them in particular, because I look at them all as parts in the songs that I'm interested in that'll help make up better songs for me in my playing, and I like them all. I like them all. There's no question to one being any better than the other. They're just all great tunes.
What was your impression of the Reno revival last year?
Last year? Well, what little I was here of it, it was great. It always is. Everybody, I was going by what everybody else said. I had to go to Arkansas, but I was here on Sunday, and from what everybody told me, it was just, it must have been wonderful, and I'm sure it was.
Well, we look forward to seeing you out there today.
Yeah, well, I've only made it on Sundays so far, but next year when it comes up, if they can decide on a week early enough, I'm not going to book anything during it next time. You know, you got to eat, but I'll save that week out for Don Wayne. You know. What the hell?
Can I pick with him today?
I don't know. Possibly not. I understand there's going to be a lot of question and answer still going on. So if he needs me, I will.
Well, they'll probably need you. They'd probably like to have some guitar backup.
He very often does. I seldom get out of work.
The Kitty of the Reno Revival.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, Don Reno is my biggest inspiration as far as the five-string banjo goes. He's the man who made me want to play it and play it and play it and play it. You know, and you can admire somebody a lot, but the greatest gift anybody can give you is that inspiration to make you take a banjo out of the case and play it. And that's what Don did for me. He made me want to play. When I heard what he was doing, I knew I couldn't do it, but I knew I must be able to do something that sounded like that, so I gave it a shot. You know.
One thing that's really exciting for me is to listen to Don Wayne because he's taken the foundation and the influence of his dad's playing it, and I believe he's taken it to a whole nother level. And when Don Wayne's in his 50s, 60s, I think people are going to say that there's no finer banjo player. I think there's no finer banjo player now, but I think the rest of the world's going to know that. I think the Bela Flecks and the Wizards, as fine as they are going to pale in comparison. So I'm very biased about that. But I think once a Reno gets a hold of you, it's in my blood. I know that. So.
this is the end of the Reno Revival. It's been a blast. I'd like to thank everybody for getting this video and hope you've enjoyed something. And if you're a banjo player, come to the Reno Revival.